I don't see back tower being a great defense site. Now, we talked about the problems you have with kid's bedroom, right? You can get on every single different angle. You can come from all different directions and pretty much without opposition. And on back tower, it's the same thing, except for you also have some extreme vertical superiority from the attackers with the balcony, which you pretty much can't hold as a defender.
So, looking at these operator choices, we got Buck brought out by Takaizo. They're going to actually attack into the kids' dorm first. Team Please picking that upper floor bomb site as their start point, bringing in a Capcan as their defense, but ultimately otherwise staying pretty standardized. Bandit, Jaeger, Valkyrie, and Rook.
I'm interested to see what they're trying to do with that Capcan. We see it a lot more on Xbox than we do on PC, and obviously it works sometimes, but you know, most of the time it's really just a redundant pick. It can get a kill here and there, but I'd honestly rather see like a Doc, for example, to give your team more durability.
Something which I know the Xbox team like from Capcan is how strong his weapon can be. It's good damage, it's very, very accurate, and the fact that he's 3 armor means he can soak up a lot of punishment from the attacking teams. And as you already talked, this bomb site being so destructible, having so many angles of fire to come in, being able to take a bullet or two without falling and going down, pretty nice when you're having someone sit up on these floors.
And while we're talking about bomb site, now this is really truly interesting, is they've decided to go with kids first. Now that's not typically what we would see from a defending team on Oregon. Typically, of course, we'd see people defending the basement, so I'm not really sure what the plan is here, but I want to see what their defense strat is going to be, because that's actually, you know, that proves that they have some level of confidence in their upstairs defense.
So Stasio journeying through this back tower. We saw Ash there diving into construction and looking towards the potential spawn peak from outside, because what they have gone and done is found themselves this man inside the top of the tower. Didn't quite seem to have all the knowledge they thought. They had a suspicion he was here. They had Ash knowing he was close by watching construction. We had Stasio droning this tower to find it out. But Thermite going straight in through the top floor window, giving Mastermore the easiest kill I think he's going to get all day. Really hinders this attack strategy right off the bat with no Thermite.
And they really didn't need to do that either. You know, especially with Thermite, they don't need to repel in like that. But again, with Thermite, all they had to do to get rid of that roamer was come up from underneath. You know, open up on the sky bridge or come up the stairs even. It's a really hard angle to hold as a defender.
So into the master bedroom, Primal looks to go. He cracked the door open while the drone, you can see on the right-hand side, is still going through armory and looking through the corridor. He's going to EMP his way in to anywhere and everywhere around himself, through the walk-in wardrobe. Helps mask the noise of the barbed wire a little bit too. And heads out to the reinforced wall to try and hold a slightly tighter angle. And edge his way slowly but surely deeper into the bomb site. Master Mod and the Bandit are right there for him, but Mass is going to land the shot first. And he's already at head height. Bibsy getting a Capcan kill onto Mater's Ash as well. Down and where else? Very similar spot actually, looking at that. Means the attackers are already at a massive disadvantage.
Here are these grenades coming out like we were talking about earlier. You know, the vertical gameplay, honestly, you can debunk pretty much anywhere on the upstairs defense without any trouble at all with grenades. And we saw their attack kind of fall apart as soon as Thermite died. It looked like they were trying to take the closet wall with the Thatcher, but then no Thermite to back it up means ipso facto the attack's kind of over for them.
Stasio picking up 3 Kukias himself, and Takaizo's Buck picking up 1 means they're immediately back in this game. It's 2v2 now. They know the diffuser's in the armory. The defenders are both sitting inside of it. They were trying to make the floor a peppered mess to try and help it. Stasio doesn't quite check the corner right enough going in. They knew it was swarmed. Capcan, you can see there, 1 HP after taking a lot of damage through the floor from Buck. But the Bandit tucked himself tight enough in that corner that Stasio hadn't quite seen him.
And I talked about it already, but to be honest, that round seemed like it was kind of over from the very beginning. When Thermite repelled in up there, you got picked off by the Jaeger. They had no options to really get into the upstairs bomb site. Sure, they can grenade underneath, and sure, they can really open up the floor, but there's not a whole lot of options for actually getting into the site. You've got the window, the big window. You've got the stairs, both of the stairs, but really, they're easy to hold off as a defender. Barbed wire.
So, into the basement, the more standardized, predictable defense go Epsilon. Team Please now already 1 round up thanks to that first one. Looking at this setup, droning around the outside to try and figure out where it goes. 2 impact nades already used here by Epsilon, cracking the wall open to this little stock room and the crawl hole to laundry. What they haven't brought here to the table, which a lot of teams do now do here is a mute.
And you know, this site setup is really what you would expect to see from Epsilon. It's pretty basic. Kind of curious what their plan is with those reinforcements.
This is something we've seen a couple of times in the past from PC squads, teams trying to qualify into Season 2 and everything. Dropping this trapdoor, because if the attackers get control of it, it doesn't give a whole lot of sightlines downstairs, but it does give a good rotate down if you then play in the meeting hall, reinforcements all on the edges, barbed wires at the front door, very easy kill hole at the back. You can then hold this and seriously control the front lobby and the back staircase from being in here, and if you get overrun down through that trapdoor, you're very quickly back at the bomb sites and holding on.
This is a really dynamic play coming out from Epsilon. I mean, they're expecting, I'm sure, to see some aggression on construction or front lobby. And like you said, this pretty much is going to counter that. It's going to allow them more flexibility. And again, they're not putting too much risk in it because that drop, like you said, doesn't offer a whole lot to the attackers, and they can just run away.
However, it seems like they weren't quite set up in time. They've already all dropped down, because as soon as this wall got blown open, we see Capital looking through now. They dropped and ran. They do not want to try and hold the meeting room without this wall reinforced, or I imagine the ones here at the back tower either, and they have given it all up. See it
honestly
emptied.
The right call from Epsilon.
Got themselves downstairs, got themselves to safety. Did waste a little bit more of Please's time now. They were going to come in very quickly, very rapidly. Now they're realizing they have to drone and check and be sure of everything in the lobby and everything around meeting. So they are down to under 2 minutes. But they are starting to get the trapdoor in meeting itself blown open, and then they can drone the front lobby, and we'll look for that one too.
Now with Epsilon's site setup, you might think, okay, well they gave up their position in the roam, and they fell all the way back, and now they've got that drop open. But they're not honestly compromising anything at all by doing what they're doing, playing the way they did. They're saving lives by running away instead of taking the engagement when it's not perfect, and that's really impressive play coming out from Epsilon. It's very calculated.
Downstairs, we see INQ pushing in already. They have got one kill. Quittle picking up that kill from up top. He gives a second one now as well, as they're firing in through the wall. He thermited here inside the blue area, in towards the backside. Master Ball gets one as they're pushing the corridor too. This is a great B push coming out from Team Please here, although Jaeger puts a quick stop to it as the plant starts to go down. He takes off 2. They haven't stopped the plant. Quittle gets a kill onto the third man as they're getting more and more kills out from that blue area construction. Takaizo now 1v2. The Thermite stopped the plant, has now begun it again. Bibbs is watching the corridor. Takaizo comes through from Laundry. Accidentally knifes it. He's trying to lean, and Bibbs is there on the right-hand side. He was more focused on the planter, and that means his head is completely exposed to the FAMAS.
Takaizo really wanted that round, but to be honest, you know, we saw pretty much as soon as Team Please debunked above, they fell back. They didn't rush it. They took their time. They're like, okay, we're gonna go back. They're doing a different hold, but we're gonna go back now, and we're just gonna do our standard construction take. We're gonna just do it nice and slow. We don't have to rush this. We get the position that they were trying to hold, and it, you know, honestly, it worked out for them perfectly.
Yeah, as you say, it didn't. The defense using those reinforcements where they did, or having that trapdoor open where they did, it didn't specifically on its own. It didn't hinder the defense. It didn't make it easy for the attackers. It still was a bit of a task to get in. What they used, the way Team Please came through that back corridor, would have worked against any other setup.
Okay, not only a Capcan this round coming out from Team Please, but also a recruit. Now, I'm guessing they're bringing a recruit to the table for the extra barbed wire, and it would seem so. You get a barbed wire and a C4 with this recruit setup, and the iron sights on the MB7 are honestly not that bad. So I'm guessing they're just going to want to stack more barbed wire on the stairs, and that'd be the cause for that. But
yeah,
no rook.
Right now. It's a full-on yellow brick road into this staircase. You can come up here, you can see it, but through and down the back.
But without a rook, honestly, you know, I would have preferred to see a rook. You still get 2 barbed wire, right? So I don't see the reason.
Not anymore.
You know, not anymore? Oh, that's right, impact grenades.
Impact grenades.
Honestly, the impact grenades can lend more assistance with opening up the walls that you need opened on this defense anyway.
We'll see how it works out. And also, to be fair, the rook armor, when you're on that basement level and you've got that front trapdoor open, a lot of explosives are going to come rattling down through there. Grenades, capital bolts, anything like that with damage reduction from rook just gives you that extra little second or 2 of life. Especially though, INQ now running around upstairs, Master more on this floor as well. So they are going for double roamers on this map, which is something which we haven't seen any team successfully pull off for quite some time.
Yeah, no, basement's definitely not so much a roamer map. I mean, you can play it roamer, but if you're going to do it, you have to do it heavy. Theoretically, you could hold the basement with 4 roamers. 1 person holding the construction hole. Oh!
That'll help.
That
Nice
was a
shot
nice
onto
snap.
Mater in the attic. Can't go and finish him off, but he's also now got the support here of Jaeger. We'll do it with a C4 just to be short. So that is a 1 pickup. I'll take it. One Rumor picking up 1 kill, and it's an Ash, which is very important for pushing in and potentially rushing the plant downstairs. Meanwhile, Mass has taken quite a bit of damage himself, down to 50% health, and checking the back corridor stairs as well. So they are closing in on these 2 Rumors, but with each staircase covered by one of them, they're going to have to commit heavily to try and flush them out.
Now, this is smart play from Epsilon, though, at the same time. You know, they're trying to get rid of the roamers. They're not ignoring them. They're not saying, okay, well, we can just go ahead and attack the site. We don't have to worry about these, because you certainly do, especially on Oregon.
So, Matt's still watching that back staircase. He now realizes they're backing away. Here's Capital, but he turns at the last second and picks him up. Meanwhile, Iron at the front side is pushing on down. He's picked up Primal. Thermite still in play, but Thatcher now gone. Still no mute for that to worry about. Thermite down to less than 50% health after blowing this trap door. Quittle is looking to come up the front staircase, and he's playing very aggressively, but can't trigger this barbed wire. In they come. Thermite does fire first, but Quittle gets the kill flow, thanks to Thermite being low health already. De Kaiser on the top floor still trying to hunt down this roaming recruit. They are having a real tough time with it. Stasio now looking to join him, but he's cautious of the trapdoor underneath. It will close it on in, but the barbed wire is going to give this Iron recruit some knowledge of this. Fire coming in from Blackbeard on the corridor. He's just holding his angle tight, see which one comes around first. Blackbeard, Capital, there it is. Blackbeard exposed himself. It's an easy kill. Now on the staircase, he sees one more. Perfect pistol aim with Iron, pre-aiming it down the stairs. And, well, we talked about how we haven't seen a Roma play work off on this map for a long time, and please go ahead and do it right now.
Well, that was some, honestly, that was just some great gunplay coming out from Iron. He was being hunted down, you know, he was being pressured from every different angle, except for, of course, the angle that his teammate Jaeger was holding. And he just won the engagements. He flat out won the engagements, not even on the barbed wire. You saw on defense also the Bandit, he was playing aggressive on the stairs. Thermite trying to pre-fire the angle, but he pre-fired too wide, tried to hit the all the way down the stairs, figured, of course, there's no Bandit, you know, close right next to my door. Lost that engagement. It just ended up being a whole bunch of lost engagements by the attackers.
Yeah. I feel that the dealing with that roamer on the armory could have been done a little bit better. Like, we had a Blackbeard.
Right.
Put Blackbeard on the window.
Right.
As soon as there's someone on that window, the armory becomes a hell of a lot smaller for anyone sitting inside of it. It becomes impossible to watch the staircase, so it gives you a free roam up that way. Then he's ducked into one of 2 corners without the guy on the window being able to see him.
Yeah, and sure, Iron did have C4 in that situation, and he could have probably dealt with the Blackbeard, but at the same time, you're not really applying any pressure in the way that they were addressing it there.
Yeah. Now then, we do have a mute onto Epsilon's defense of this basement floor. They are reinforcing the walls in towards kitchen as well, but they're doing both trapdoors here inside meeting, and don't seem to be setting up any kind of barbed wire or front reinforcements.
I'm curious to see what their plan is here as to why they're reinforcing that kitchen wall. Are they going to try and roam someone upstairs in meeting hall? And if so, why have they not left the drop open for them to retreat? Are they just going to try and hard hold it? What's the plan here?
Mater's reinforcements, and surprisingly one at the bottom of the staircase, and of course one will be on the table to stop out any kind of jamming onto the table. I'm confused by that second mute charge or third mute charge you just put down at the back there. It's right next to the batteries, which are just going to get EMP'd if they're going to get EMP'd.
Yeah.
And the batteries will then
I don't
also, or the mute jammer will die at the same
mutes
time.
maybe?
Yeah.
They could have put it by a door. Made
Yeah,
it
like,
a little bit useful.
I know he doesn't know there's no Thatcher, and we know there's a Twitch, so putting it by the door would stop the Twitcher, and nice, but
yeah,
even if there was a Thatcher, that would just get all of them, so I'm a bit confused. Either way, they are playing 5 men downstairs and are staying very static at the moment. So, Master Mort once again coming in from the meeting hall at the backside, realizing this time that it is now clean and open. Quittle's going to come join him and start cracking open the important corridor trapdoor that helped him out last time. Bibbs coming down from the back tower, cleaning that out. Capio's watching the front doors and letting Thermite know they're safe and clean. And then there's good old-fashioned Claymore for good measure to make sure no one comes in that angle. Why is Capital watching that when there's a Claymore there? We're not watching the left-hand side where there's no Claymore.
I do honestly like this setup, though. You know, you can see what they're doing here. They know what they're attacking. They know, okay, we're not going to be going past meeting hall because here's what we're doing. We're doing a construction/meeting hall take. We do not need any more information other than that. We don't have to worry about roamers. As long as tower is completely clear, we're good. And this is a nice confined take. It really, you know, honestly, there's not a whole lot to think about. As long as you get your angles right, you can win this.
Trying to spot it through the wall, and they do. Iron gets banned as he stands up to try and sprint away. They got the batteries on the wall already as well, so now that thermite wall is exposed. Drone keeps going to the front. Will have got eyes on a couple more players now, gives their positional information over to his team. Iron was the man in first last time, did a lot of damage to what was waiting for him on the inside. He's going to try and do the same again now. Hammers his way in and tries to crack out the barbed wire that's waiting in the corridor as well. Cautious of that door behind him, he gets shot open, but will take out the Jaeger system, means he can now nade up and over, goes straight down onto Meta's head and downs him with ease. No dock left in the play, so he's going to come down and up, but the grenade bounces back this time, and Team keeps Quittle, who was already down. They're also being flanked now by Smoke, who just picked up the kill onto Master Mort in the main meeting hall. Takaizo pushing forward from the front. Amaro picks up one kill inside the site, but he is also very quickly down. Now Takaizo is alone, pitches out straight into Twitch's fire. Neither of them land the unscopes, and Iron, credited with the last 2 kills, finishes him off from right on top of the diffuser.
Well, that was almost a round going straight backwards. Like we were expecting, we saw, Please coming in with the pretty much a systematic take that was just, we push, we take a meeting hall, we start pushing into the construction, and we just take the site. And it worked for the most part. But as soon as we got that team kill onto Thermite, it started to get a little flaky. But luckily, they still managed to bring it back.
Yeah, Thermite had already been down, so the grenade killing
it probably
came
wouldn't
back.
matter.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the biggest game changer, but it's not a good sign.
Right.
And when you're also then getting flanked and you see your Smoke gets that kill successfully on Ash, that means the flank is falling apart a little bit. It starts to get a bit scary. But they held on, they went true, they picked up a couple of very important kills, and then now onto what could be the last round of the map already on this top floor, which is incredible.
Somewhat surprising,
yeah,
considering this is Epsilon, we're talking about, it's a good team, one of the contenders for the playoffs. I mean,
first place last season.
That's first place last season. I'm really kind of amazed at what's happening here. Team Please is pulling out all the stops. This has got to be honestly, one of their more refined maps.
And I was going to say maybe it's something to do with the 4.2 edition, maybe something to do with the gameplay changes brought in with that, but they're not really exploiting anything huge that 4.2 brought along. Okay, we've got Rook here running some impact nades, we have a couple used downstairs, but they're also still using C4 on the big attic doorway, they're still using those kind of openings before, we're not using any operators, they've got patch, we're not really using anything big from
Nothing special.
They are still playing in very samey, standardized ways from back in 4.1, and it's working.
Yeah. It seems honestly like Team Please is just winning most of their engagements. Epsilon's been bringing a lot of good strats, especially in the beginning of this match. They're bringing a lot of really good strats that have obviously.
Oh, the spray through the wall. He doesn't know he's down, Jaeger. Of course, there's no point feed on this. He can't be sure, but his position was called out, so he knew he was in there. Then the next drone's going to go in and confirm Master Mort is downed inside the fridge. Just a moment. There we go. They go and execute him. Capital finishes him off. So that's one roamer down on the floor below, and now they can start to do that bottom-up play you talked about. Something else I want to talk about here, though, with Meta's build. Why the heck is he running breach charges?
Laser sight breach charges.
Laser sight, fine. Well, they've done that. We talked about how that first bullet accuracy when you're hit fire before you ADS
it's
can make or break games. That's fine.
But the breach charges.
But the breach charges, yeah, the smoke grenades, even if you don't use them for smokes, just use them to take out trophy systems, is great. He's used one on an outside window that was under no threat from drone that was clean to go into, he could have punched it. Same one here, this has been drone for him, he knows it's clear, he could have punched it. No benefit from the breach charges, and if he was going top down and going to use them on floors, fine, but no, he's going bottom up. Quittle gets a second kill there after Meta doesn't land the first few shots, lets his teammate walk straight into the fire. Quittle picks it up this time and gets the next one on the third. Team Please holding firm really hard at the front of this corridor. And yeah, okay, they lose one roamer down, but every firefight afterwards, they're just winning and winning and winning.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised, to be honest. That Ash had a really good position to win that engagement. She knew where he was, just killed her teammate. There wasn't a whole lot of... Honestly, all you have to do is come around that corner free fire, which is... I'm surprised I didn't see that coming out for him.
Kapkan then has to fall back after that wall gets blown on open. Takaizo, there's still this barbed wire in the backside in trouble.
Oh boy.
Kapkan trap on the door, right behind Kapkan himself. Takes out the pushing thermite and then firing into the back staircase. Iron picks up the final kill of the round on Takaizo. And just like that, Team Please have 5-0'd Epsilon.
I'm just baffled right now. Now, honestly, seeing the way Epsilon was playing on that last round, I'm not surprised at all. But seeing the way Epsilon was playing in the beginning rounds, it is, they had refined strats. They knew what they were doing. It just started falling apart in the middle of the match there. I mean, that last round, what did they do? They were running up the stairs to attack Kid's bedroom. All you have to do is open up the windows and play for the angles, look for the picks, and do some underground.
Team Please even had a donut.
Yeah.
One of their players, Capio, didn't get a
donut.
single kill. He had 2 assists.
5-0.
And yeah, it's a 5-0 with one of their players donuting. Like, donuting does not mean to say he's playing badly. Of course not. He's still an asset team. He's playing the Valkyrie. His cameras were really important. Yeah, everyone else was just getting all those kills so much quicker. He didn't have to get involved. Like, that's incredible. That was very, very well played from Team Please. Now, got to give them something to do. That was their map choice. That was the map they picked. So it could literally have been they spent their entire time off, their entire 4.2, their entire last few months training that map exclusively to get a win on it.
It would make a lot of sense.
Might all fall apart once they hit border.
Yeah, it would make a lot of sense, though, because honestly, all you need to do, if you're Team Please in this situation, you're playing against Epsilon, you're like, okay, we need to take one map off of them. We take one map off of them, we're good. This is Pro League, they can lose the next map and still be in a comfortable position because obviously Epsilon, one of the best teams in the league, and if they did practice specifically on Oregon for this match, then props to them. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and we'll see if it works. But even then, we've seen teams in the past, like, you go up against one of the best teams in the league, you train one map, you try and take just that map off, because if you draw against them, it's the best result possible. But even then, those maps still come close, because that's the best team in the league. They're still good on all of them.
It was a surprising amount of refinement.
So for it to be that one-sided, even if that was their whole plan, that's really good sign for Team Please's training strategy and anything on that side. So we'll see if they can carry it over to border, which in all fairness does play in a very similar way in some cases to Oregon. There's a lot of destructible walls you can spray through. There's a lot of floors you can work up and down. It's very roamer friendly, which is something that Please's pairing, that Recruit and that Jaeger did phenomenally up on this top floor. Something which, again, we haven't seen in a long time. So yeah, it's something that Epsilon are going to have to take stock with and really think about.
Yeah, and we saw in the replays just now some of the amazing gunplay coming out from, like, Iron, for example, just really dominating on that roaming. And we also saw, what was it, the attack on the basement. That was just systematic in, like, 1-2. We take above, we go below, and it's over.
So let's head into map number 2 then. Team Please versus Epsilon. It's going to be border now. We saw this once earlier on today with a scrappy back and forth between U4X and Supremacy. But it's time now for Epsilon Team Please. Epsilon on defense first. So let's see where it is they choose to go. The Armory and the Archives is the standardized common first choice. We've seen it switched up a little way, but they seem to be sticking with their tried and true. And on attack, Team Please. Sledge, Capital, Twitch, Ash, and Thermite. The same 5, more or less, that they brought on the last map as well.
Yeah.
Epsilon bringing Castle to the table instead of the Mute or the Smoke, which they ran on the last map. Castle is something we have seen here on border in the last couple of weeks. We saw it on Thursday with the PC guys being played. And there are some interesting things you can do with it to help lock off sections of the map. But it's also, it's not one of those things that will ever really change the game.
Honestly, I don't see it like as an amazing pick on this particular site, especially when you're dealing with, okay, they can pick Sledge and just open up everything because, like, for example, on Canal, you take it on the 3rd floor, right? Because what do they have to do? Well, some of the windows they have to Ash, and so the other windows they're going to have to repel and expose themselves in order to sledge those windows. This one, there's only one window where I can really think on Armory that it's going to be super beneficial, and that's going to be the window next to those 2 lockers right there. Other than that,
Sometimes we see it placed on this one.
Yeah.
So then they have to use a breach on that, and then they have to use Thermite on the wall. But yeah, exactly. Like, I was going to use Clubhouse as an example too. Yeah. We often see it in the basement there, and you say you put the castle wall on the construction tunnel. Because then if someone goes into the construction tunnel and doesn't have breaches, or it's not Sledge, then to get that blown open for them, Sledge has to run all the way outside the map, all the way down construction, then all the way back to where it wants to be, and that's a lot of wasted time.
It's like 30 seconds.
Yeah, so you can completely lock off that construction tunnel by castling it. Same thing in the garage pit in some stages. It's a little bit easier to construct, but similar thing. And we'll see Blackbeard sit in that construction pit and punch it 12 times in 7 cases. But on this map, it's very easy for the attackers to just send a Sledge or anyone else just from one to the other and just sludge it quickly.
Right.
Like, it's not a slow rotate for the attacking team. So we'll see. He's put one here then at the doorway to office. We've got...
I can actually see that one being beneficial, to be completely
nice.
honest.
One... They haven't put one on the other wall there. He's put one here in the entrance to the metal detectors. and one on the entrance to the office, and I lost the third one, but alright. We'll see what kind of impact they make. Him and Stasio though, Meta and Stasio playing inside the office at the moment. And we'll see as the attack comes in from Team Please. Master Moore with Iron droning downstairs towards Tellers. Capio is always upstairs. Capitao inside the CCTV office already, holding the top of these metal stairs in case anyone gets droned out from the floor below and chased up that stairwell. He's going to be ready there to catch them.
That's an interesting position because CCTV room, typically you'd say, okay, if we're attacking A, what we need to do is first, we need to take CCTV room. We need to set that as our staging ground for the attack on A. And having someone play in there, like you said, to watch the flank, I mean, it makes sense, but it's also kind of exposed.
Iron sledging his way in towards office, which I'm surprised he can even do, because when you've got two players playing in there, Epsilon, in Meta and in Stasio, Stasio has now dropped, but still, the fact that you didn't reinforce that wall when having players play inside that site surprises me a little. Bibbs is now in through the window very quickly. He's gone prone right underneath it. Quitol is in the window itself. He's going to have an angle here on Maita. If he's got an ACOG, he'll have seen it. Maita misses the first few shots, but there's Iron picking up the first kill onto Stasio as he tries to flank up underneath these stairs. Bibbs stands up, hides himself behind the ACOG of Maita, and the Ash Charge goes off on the wall next to him. He's taking a punishment from all sides, and Team Please have swarmed him down. 5v3, and inside the B's site, Primal's trying to help get a trade kill, but can't make it count, and has actually taken more damage than he dealt.
You know, that was a great start to this attack. You know, from coming from Team Please, what we've been seeing from what we saw on Border earlier tonight is people would open up that east wall and they would sit outside the east wall and they would be like, okay, how do we debunk these offices? But Team Please, they cornered the offices. They're like, all right, we're taking these offices. These are ours, and they just pushed in, won the engagements, opened up the wall, and here we go. Now we're looking for an attacker-sided round.
Yeah, 40 seconds. Here's the third castle barricade, so it's helping keep that man on the balcony, but going to try and grenade it open. Takaizo does finally get a kill for the defending team. It is over towards the locker side, though. Capitao in the main corridor. Mastermore spraying through a hole in the wall towards the site. Does get Primal low, and then he's finished off by Bibbs coming from behind. Takaizo's completely split over the far side. Now does have eyes on Iron, but neither of them are landing the important shots until that one. Takaizo does get sledged down. Capitao down in the corridor by the shotgun from Amarok. Inside Bibbs gets, but Takaizo is there to flank him. They are going to go for the revive onto Sledge, and he stands up just in time to get the kill. And do more, very tight in behind the bomb. Ryan now with his SMG-11 cannot stop the C4 going off, and that's just enough to cancel the plant. Amarok with perfect timing and a very hectic but well executed and saved defense there from Epsilon.
That was pretty crazy. That round was, I mean, you saw, obviously, they took the office, they had control, they opened up the wall, everything was going their way. There was great positioning coming out, especially from Twitch, who seemed to read the mind of the defender, putting herself in just the most awkward position whenever possible. But Takaizo winning those engagements, holding out the site, and then that last C4, oh, that was beautiful.
Yeah, that was really nicely done there by Amarok. Keeping a cool head in the last few seconds of the round, knowing all he had to do was stop the plant. There's only one or two places that plant was going to come from. And once he got the job done, he did manage to hold out for the last couple of seconds and keep himself alive. The SMG-11 from Sledge wasn't quite there. But they are going to disconnect for whatever reason. It's within their rights. It's within the first 15 seconds of the round. We are going to back out. We're going to run for a remake of the lobby. We're going to come back in just a moment with the next round, round number 2 still, here on Border between Epsilon and Team Please. So without further ado, we'll see you in a couple of minutes' time with the rest of this game. Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen. Just waiting for the last couple of players to funnel into the lobby, and then we'll have round number 2 underway between Team Please and Epsilon here on Border. Let's talk about that first defense then from Epsilon. It got a bit hectic in the middle, but they held on to it. Any glaring holes you saw in their setup that could have made that easier?
Epsilon, honestly, glaring holes in their setup, I wouldn't say so. I would say they really just needed to hold that office better. They had the positioning, they just weren't really doing it right. I'd say they needed to reinforce the east wall. I'm not sure why it wasn't, but honestly, that cost them the entire round. They did not hold the office well enough, and they could have easily, just by reinforcing the wall, making them waste another thermite, even abandoning it. They had Bandit playing in the position. It just wasn't reinforced.
The castle barricades then, we weren't sure where they were going to go. We weren't sure how much use they were going to give once they went down. We saw where they put them. Thoughts about those?
Honestly, okay, so the one in the hallway I thought was a great idea, but it ended up just pushing them into a hole, you know, because they didn't put one on that window, and it would have wasted a little bit more time, and in the end it just trapped the players playing in office. They didn't have any position, they couldn't reposition, they couldn't really do anything. They just and it didn't change anything. It just got grenaded.
All right, so what operator would you pick instead of Castle?
Probably Doc.
Okay, and how would you play him?
I would probably play him in the site the same way Jaeger was playing, probably in the position Jaeger was playing by the bunker, allowing Doc to just, you know, pick up the people playing in B site and honestly change the round entirely.
All right, so we'll see if they have a similar kind of thought process, or if they're stuck and tried and true, if they come down and try and do it next time around. Of course, they have to wait a round or two of defense because they successfully held it.
Yeah.
But as we head on in now, it is time for Team Please to try out their first defense, and they are going to that same bomb site, so we'll see what they have up their sleeve. Once again, it looks like they're going to bring a recruit to the table. They still have 20 seconds to change their mind, but we have seen them do it once. We have seen it work fantastically for them once on Oregon, and between that and Mass Dumont, the Jaeger and the recruit double room, they could be looking for something strong. They've got that Capcan to lock down entrances to the site, so there's no very fast rush in there from the attackers. They can't just bypass the rumors by rushing into the site because they have to run through Capcan traps, and they may be looking for a very mobile pairing here.
You know, honestly, I like Iron on that recruit. The Iron recruit it's working really well for them. Iron is winning those engagements, and in the end, that's what really matters. On it, but I would say that I would rather see a castle, or sorry, not a castle, a rook coming out instead of a Capcan. I like the way Mass and Iron are playing together, but they could be doing it better with armor.
Yeah. So, let's see where they put it. The 3 barbed wire is another thing which is going to come off nicely in some of the spots defending this
Definitely.
site. Protect your bombs. See where he chooses to put them, and of course that C4 can be used later on. But their defense is looking to start off in a very similar fashion. However, this wall is actually being reinforced by Team Police. So, personally for me, that's an upgrade already from the way Epsilon did it. We'll see where the rest of them go. Capcan make it. Oh, they're pre-firing the holes in this wall. Now, it might just be to then reinforce on the inside so they can hear better and maybe bandit trick it, but if they're making the holes themselves...
You know, it might be that they're trying to hold it from the long angle. Now, it makes sense when you really think about it. You know that they're going to thermite that wall, right? And honestly, it's really hard to bandit trick it and defend it. So, okay, what do? You open it up preemptively. You deny them access to that wall. The only way then that they're going to get in there is if they use enough grenades or if they just ash it.
So Capcan put in his final trap right out there at the east door. We also have on the attacking team a slight switch up in operators. No Twitch, but we do have a Blackbeard here on Takaizo. And slash we've got Thatcher, so still at 85, but a little bit harder to get through things. In through that window jumps Takaizo's Blackbeard, finds it's already actually open, which I'm sure will be a surprise. And heads his way down after finding that one man in there and relaying that to his team. Maita on the bottom floor. This is what you talked about, how easy it is to get underneath targets on this map, and he now has control of the bottom side of that thermite wall from CCTV if they choose to go in through this angle.
Now, honestly, I'd like to see a CCTV attack because we've been seeing this whole time, we've been seeing B-side attacks on office. You know, take the office, then move into B, just plant the bomb. And I like it, but I honestly think that a CCTV attack could be a lot more beneficial. I mean, just a lot easier, a lot smoother. You've got more control over your flanks. It's just one angle instead of 2. And I don't know. I think it's easier.
Team Please then running with a double roamer inside CCTV. Iron has a big ass C4 hole back into the main corridor as his escape, which is something you don't always see. But Takaizo is there on the balcony. Hammerrock is going around towards the east staircase and does go down. Wow.
Whoa.
Oh. Right through the door as he tries to sprint across the gap. They've come up the metal stairs though, and they sprinted straight in towards the office. They did get a flank onto Capo, take him down before Bibsy will trade back onto Stasio and get a second one. This Cap can, that 3 armor allowing him to take all this punishment. Thermite does blow the wall from the east staircase inside to Kaizo. In their corridor as Primal now comes in through the gap. Bibsy takes him down through the wall. Amarok now comes in. Bibsy doesn't even need to take this one out as he gets help from afar. Now Takaizo's got Iron is on. Iron has rotated through his thermite hole, through the ash charge hole they made up the metal stairs, and Takaizo is now swarmed on either side of this hole by 2 members of Team Please. Got 57 seconds to play with, but turns his back on Iron, not knowing he came to that corner. Gives up the round quickly and easily, and Team Please are back at 1-1 draw.
That was a crazy round. We saw, okay, so Team Epsilon, they were setting up for a monitors take. They saw there were 2 people in monitors, so they were like, okay, let's take office. They transferred all the way over, but in the middle of that, they're like, okay, while we're taking office, let's rush someone up the stairs, straight on through the wall and into the back end of office. Now, if they had opened up that thermite wall a little bit sooner, I think, and then drawn the attention of the people playing in office straight to that sooner, it would have been, I think it would have, probably would have gone the other way.
Yeah, it's a very aggressive round there from Epsilon, but they did it without feeling like they had that much information on the defense they were rushing into. I'm sure they CCTV'd and droned the fact that those 2 guys were in there, but they didn't seem to realize that big ass C4 hole was there to allow the rotate back.
Yeah.
And Iron stabs them in the back. For those that even had survived the Capcan onslaught, to be fair.
Yeah.
As we do get another player leads lobby. Okay, so I was going to say we head into the next round. We head into round number 3, but it's not going to happen. This bomb site, though, is the one selected by Epsilon, so we can talk about this one ever so briefly while, or just before, we run to another break, just before we come back and rehost it and get them all in again. But when we do return from this one, we're going to talk about that bomb site. We're going to talk about ventilation and servers. While they are not obligated to take it on the remake, they don't have to. They still cannot go upstairs. They held that, so that is still locked. They can go on the other 3, but I have a feeling this one may just stick. And we'll talk about why on the other side of this commercial break. Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen. Players are all but here, and we are now going to look towards Epsilon's next defense. Now, before the remake, they did choose the servers in the ventilation room, which is something we suspect they're going to carry over. So let's talk a little bit about that site. How do you defend it? How do you attack it?
So as an attacker, what I would want to do is I would want to attack from the bathroom side. I would want to go ahead and open up the teller's wall, start attacking through the bathroom wall, the bathroom hallway. There's a wall there too. You could just blow it open and then start just focusing on picks on the site, because there's only one way that they can really flank you. Or two ways, I guess. They could jump out through the balcony upstairs, which typically you wouldn't see that. It's pretty dangerous. Or they could try to attack you from the teller windows from red stairs / lobby area. But that's a really easily controlled flank. You open up the wall, you start getting picks on the site, and you have the site. It's over. But what most teams try to do, what they try to attack, is they try to attack straight on through, just balls to the wall through the window and the front door on the B side. And honestly, I don't think it's a great way to hold it, because you've got to deal with the flank from the other from custom site. You've got to deal with the flank from the wood wall all the way out in custom site. You got another balcony to deal with. It's generally, I wouldn't say it's the best way to attack it, but that's how most teams do. And again, the easiest way to defend that is just you can prop someone up top. You can open up the floor, play the vertical game on the window in B. You can even play someone close on the shelf in B. You can open up the entire wall to B and hold it from server. It's a really easy site to hold, and I would like to see more teams attack from the bathroom side.
Something we also see a lot of teams do for defense, as you mentioned, is play above that B site, looking down through the floor.
Exactly.
But something we've seen Please do already today on Oregon is demolish the Epsilon roamers. They've been great at finding them, pre-firing through walls, swarming them from all angles, just overpowering them, which, if you're trying to be one or two players playing on that floor above, regardless of where they attack afterwards, whether they end up going for A or going for B, if those roamers have been slaughtered in the first minute of the round, Epsilon are on a back foot.
And it's interesting because we've seen Epsilon try to do the same thing. They've been trying to get rid of the they've been trying to get rid of the police team roamers this whole time. On Oregon, we saw them getting really aggressive on those two guys upstairs. They've just been losing the engagements. They haven't been able to debunk those roamers. And honestly, Iron and Mass, their roaming duo is just it's beautiful. They've got the barbed wire coming from Jaeger and the recruit, and they've even got C4, and they've got ADS devices. I mean, there's so much going for that roaming duo, and they seem to work really well together. You saw on Oregon, Mass was denying one stairs, and while he denied those, Iron won the engagements.
Iron just killed everyone.
It killed everyone who was trying to aggress them from the other side, and it's a great duo.
All right, so we'll see if they pull that off. And I'm still waiting for the last member of Epsilon to return. Let's say they don't take that bomb site. Let's say they run into the other two. Which would you suggest? Which is your favorite?
I think it's Epsilon defending, right?
Yep.
So if it's Epsilon defending, so
Teller's Archives, Teller's and Toilet, or they've got the customs room and the little store cupboard.
I would say outside of vents, I would say customs is probably the best site to defend. Obviously Armory. But they won that, so I would say customs. If I were them, even over vents, I would probably prefer to play customs. Although I see why they don't want to, because custom, this is Xbox we're talking about. Obviously, my experiences with PC. Customs is a really long range site to defend. You've got the huge long range angle on both of the main lobby stairs. You've got, or not main lobby stairs, but the hallways, and then you've also got the long range angle on stock room, which, to hold that window. You can hold it vertically. It's possible. It's just a little difficult because the corner cuts off just ever so slightly. There is a little safe corner for you to plant in. So, yeah, I could see why they prefer fence. It's a lot more close, compact, no real long angles to worry about.
All right, so we'll see if they can play it off or not. As I mentioned, we're still waiting for this last man from Epsilon, and we don't have word from anyone, as I'm checking down here for as to where or what he is. There we go. There he is. So, we'll get in. Let's load it on up. Let's get back into this game. So, it is Epsilon versus Team Please. It is Border. We are on to round number 3. The current score is 1 round each. Both teams having successfully held their defense of the Armory and the Archives upstairs. Now, we're looking for one of the 3 bomb sites downstairs to be chosen. Now, Epsilon, previously, before the remake, looked to go into the ventilation and the server room. We'll see if they choose to go there again, or if they use one of the other sites that we just talked about. But yes, the ventilation in the workshop does appear to be their go-to selection. nothing too surprising.
I mean, yeah, that's what we would expect. And again, with the castle, I'm glad that Epsilon is playing Rook, and obviously it was Team Please that wasn't playing Rook, but I'm still confused about this castle. I'm not really sure that it's going to be ringing a whole lot. Not on border. I don't see many situations where it could be useful. When it comes to castle, the way I see him being useful is when he uses them in a way that Sledge has to expose himself in order to get the castles, or they have to waste the Ash charges on the castles themselves. I don't see breach charges being a factor because it's the same as Sledge. You have to expose yourself. And when you're placing a breach charge on a castle, you're making that noise, you're easily C4'd or even impact needed through the castle.
Here is that setup. Let's see where they choose to put those barricades and see how they choose to defend this site. We'll follow on board with Maita for a little while as he is...
See where he puts them.
Yeah, running off to quite a distance. Okay, so he's going to try and hold inside customs.
That's interesting.
Here.
That's a lot of reinforcements to spend away from the site, especially on server. I'm really curious to see how they're going to hold this because, again, like I said, they're expending a lot of reinforcements here. They've got a huge wall in the back of server, and then even in the lobby, or in the hallway, that they need to reinforce. And I'm not sure how they're going to do it. I'm really curious now. Oh, they're cutting off the entire east side of the building. It looks like.
Okay. Knocking out that edge. Meanwhile, they're reinforcing up along the toilet wall here. Nothing too crazy there. Doing a full reinforcement here on this side as well. So yeah, they're just going to completely...
Wow.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, that one confused me a little bit because he was going to cut off a lot of his team's own rotation ability if he held that door, but they have cancelled it.
This is really cool, coming out from Epsilon.
Oh, this is going to be close. Iron was knocking the wall open right next to him as he tried to start that reinforcement. Now he does cancel it and start to fire some shots off through and get away safely, but that means they are now a little bit more exposed than they wanted to be as the drones are coming in from Team Please.
Now, this is a really cool site setup from Epsilon because what I was talking about earlier with the way you attack this site looks like they're totally minded towards that and trying to counter it.
In they go. Iron, once again, being the man with that aim, gets the job done. Maita goes down, and Iron has taken a lot of damage, but that's his job, and that's his role, and he is still alive for now and can continue droning with the rest of his team. Finds another man in the back room. I believe he gets downed by a teammate going for the revive while he's mid-droning, but they have found out where Bandit is, and wow, he does get down. Takaizo's there to flank around, takes that Master Mortar as well, and Primal grabs Bibs at the same time, so it all goes to crap very quickly.
Wow.
And Iron Q didn't even get the revive. No, he did get the revive, and then he team kills Quittle before Takaizo finishes him off for the end of the round.
What I would call that defense is it's a trap. That was a trap. So what we were talking about earlier I think that it's better to attack through the bathroom side of that site. They set up for that, and then they totally put all their thorns pointing in the opposite direction. They're like, okay, we're going to castle off these doors. We're going to make it look like we're totally trying to set up the wall of fortifications France or Fortress France on this side of the map, and then we're ready for them to come from the other side of the map. They absolutely shut down that push coming into customs there.
Very nice hold by Mas2 Mort, peeking around that corner. Yes, his bandit got down, but he was there to pick up the trades every single time.
Attackers need to locate
and inside to the site goes Team Please. Now they're looking to hold the same location. Both these teams so far mirroring each other on selections, but their setups very different. And we're backing out again.
It's the disconnect.
Okay, interesting.
Is that number 3?
That is number 3 in total. 2 for Epsilon, 1 for Please so far. No here, by the way, we did just before the NC. INQ, he was throwing a C4 there onto that wall of the toilet wall before the full reinforcement up. So they're going to blow their way through there. And eventually then defend with a rotate between the toilets and the bomb site instead of reinforcing it all.
It makes sense when you think about it, because if you reinforce the whole wall, you've got the issue of, obviously, it's what we saw earlier, upstairs. Open up the wall, deny Thermite access to that wall, and then with this, it's the same thing. They can't get into bathroom. The only way they can get into bathroom is through one door. So if they want to get through that door, you could stick a guy with a shotgun in the corner in the shower and completely deny that. It doesn't have to be a shotgun, mind you. But yeah, and that way, Thermite is, what is he going to do? You know, how is he going to get into the site? That means that you deny them opening up the site, you deny them those picks, and honestly, it's a really good strat if they're trying to take from bathroom side.
All right, well, we'll see if it works or not after another break while we get the players back in the lobby, remake it, and see you guys in just a moment. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. That caught me by surprise. We are all back in. We're going back into the game. Team Please now on defense. Going to choose their selection again, possibly that ventilation and server room. So let's see if that's what goes on through. We saw a brief glimpse of their setup beforehand. They're going to blow holes in towards the bathroom. They're going to go and set themselves up into there, reinforce it off a little way and force Thermite to expose himself to potentially a man peeking from or playing in that bathroom. Question then is, are they going to play that far over into customs, which is what Epsilon just did, to counter Please's last attack?
You know, I'd be interested to see, like you were saying, the defense that we just saw was kind of like all-encompassing. It covered everything in a really sensible way, and I don't know if you can really do vents in a better way. Like, I mean, maybe they'll do a defense that'll work, right? Maybe it'll get the job done, but I don't know if you can do it better than what we just saw.
No, this is going to be a tough one. So let's see then. Epsilon are going to be attacking that ventilation room and the workshop. That is the selection that Team Please are happily going with again.
And we're seeing Capcan, recruit, and you know, honestly, it's not remotely surprising. Obviously, we've been seeing it this whole time, but it's still kind of, you know, I'd still partial to Rook. You know, we see the Capcan getting use, but I would rather honestly see a Rook.
So there is that hole made in towards the toilets. Right now we've got a load of barbed wire being put already all over the place by Mastumort. Capcan went in and put a couple of traps down, is playing around there. Barbed wire in the doorway towards waiting room as well. Or Quittle is reinforcing the outer walls here by customs.
Now that's interesting. So what's happening here is they're trying to mimic, but not one for one, of course. They're trying to get an all-encompassing defense on this as well. They're really, both of these teams, playing it kind of the same way, not turtling in the site. Now, a lot of teams, what I would see on PC is if they're going to defend ventilation, they're going to try and turtle entirely in the site. You know, they'll reinforce maybe some external walls, but honestly, they're not. They're going to forfeit customs, they're going to forfeit bathroom, and they're just going to try and hold the ventilation room, point all their guns through the wall at B, and just do it that way. And, you know, it works sometimes. But I like what I'm seeing coming out on the Xbox side of things here with these strategies. This is actually really impressive.
So, Sizo's already cracking open the front door and firing in towards the rotate between sites. Everyone staying very much static now. Cautious of shots coming out from inside. That was Iron firing out from inside the stock room. But Starzio will now head up because Mater has cleared up and joined him on the balcony. And that drone you see right inside the door told him the armory inside is clean and fearful.
Ooh.
This is going to blow right above Quittle's head. It's going to do a fair bit of damage to him. If they can get there before he moves. He doesn't quite get there in time. Quittle sprints away just before Mater starts to pull the trigger. But helping flush them out and move them away from this B site.
Now, what I'm guessing happened there is you would expect that recharge to do some damage to Quittle. Now, I don't know if this is how it happened, but I'm guessing that looks like the blast hit the shelf that Quittle was standing next to, and that's entirely possible. They all got absorbed like that.
Yeah, Jaeger then spotted inside customs. Starzio drone runs away, but will then be killed off as he's chased down. Quittle up and watching through the trapdoor above his head now as Capo's got a very nice angle through the floor. Nice shot onto Primal right from by the bomb. Takes out that Thatcher. Not the most pivotal operator to attack this site, but if they do get batteries down onto these walls here from the toilets now, that helps force Thermite into that spot you were talking about earlier on.
Right.
Quittle takes a beating in the floor there, down through another hole being made by Buck, does reposition and move away, and this is the power of that destructible floor. Now, they're not all necessarily dying, but their mobility is seriously hindered now. They cannot move so much, and they are forced to be active the whole time. Thermite picking the kill on Valkyrie up through the floor, and that helps give the numbers back on even footing. Bandit's taking a bit more damage though, so is low. And well, Capital trying to nade in towards the site and the stockroom. They're going to touch a soul. Takaizo gets a good shot onto Quittle down through the floor. That Bandit's finally dead, but as Capital tries to push in, Mastu more flanks from the bottom of the metal staircase, takes him out as he's stuck in the barbed wire. 35 seconds on the clock. Amarok has the diffuser and is outside the B window, but they're going to take out Ash back behind him first. INQ now has a great flank setup. Takaizo comes down and takes down Bibsy as well, and even though there's not a lot of health on that poor little recruit, Amarok is going to be out of action with the diffuser soon. Takaizo gets a good flank on Master Moore though, and now it is all on INQ who sprints straight into Amarok in through that B window. And Epsilon will secure themselves another round and a comfortable lead now of 3-1.
Now, that was honestly a really impressive round, again, by the roamers of Team Please. And I know they lost that round, but they did their job. They actually did more You saw the fire arrows, the grenades coming out to try and debunk those two roamers playing the custom side of the map. And that's not even where the site is. What it really came down to there, the reason Team Please lost that round is, honestly, the guys playing on the site lost their engagements, they got picked off, and there's not much else to say, really.
No, simple as that. Each time they came up against the person, couldn't get enough shots landed in time. Time now for Epsilon to go back onto defense. They can get back to that top floor now as they've successfully held downstairs as well. Now, they've already done this once with, to be fair, a little bit of luck involved with the way they held this first defense. Let's see if they've found the problems and can hold it more solid this time around. Else, Team Please, with that attack, with that strategy again, will be comfortably looking at a 3-2 scoreline. Maytap bringing that castle to the table again, and now is starting to reinforce that east wall this time.
You know, honestly, I like this match. Now, obviously, we weren't expecting it to be this close. And every round, and this is worth noting, every single round is close. There's not been, so far, like just a total full sweep coming around for Epsilon or Team Please. Now, sure, Epsilon is winning. They're up 3-1. But, again, it's extremely close. Team Please, they have strategies for this map. They are executing them, and well. It's just sometimes they lose an engagement and force their roamers on defense, for example, to have to pull too much weight.
So, Mastermore coming quickly back in towards the building, just to get up close to safe and then drone. Quittle is going to drone the CCTV room. Capo is going to move straight in there as soon as he tells him it is all clear, just like they did last time. Bibsy is going to lose his drone as he heads in towards the B site with that twist drone, and Iron still outside droning the floor below. So they're going to have a complete picture of this bomb site and building pretty soon. Team Please got all their angles covered. Meanwhile, inside, Mastermore still droning a similar location. Capo has now got company inside the CCTV room in the kitchen. It's looking towards that wall, but we'll know it's castled, and we'll keep an eye on the top of the metal stairs again like he did before. Bibsy holding that claymore instead of a breach charge means he's going to run past the door with the castle break on it, put that claymore at the top of these metal stairs instead of the bottom like he did last time, and we'll have that safely covered for his team.
Now, that's a really important claymore to think, because honestly, red stairs gives the defensive team, or even the offensive team, a lot of control on the map. You got to think about it. When you have control of the red stairs, you've got two long angles, right? Well, I guess downstairs a little bit more than two, but you've got one really long angle in the hallway upstairs, and then you've got another huge angle just to control the entire lobby downstairs, and that denies the roamers entirely that one claymore.
Stasio then dropped down through the trapdoor after that wall got blown open. Droned out straight away and isn't feeling comfortable coming back up. Meta has picked up the kill on Mastermore. Actually grabbed Primal a kill onto Bibsy as well. Stasio still being chased around downstairs, cautious of the window. Quittle's got a great shot onto Primal this time around. Capo though gets another man inside the corridor as Meta tries to rotate away. Iron then gets the one on Stasio downstairs. Capo looking in towards that site, and what looked great for the defense of Epsilon is suddenly crumbling as Please immediately trade back all the kills that Epsilon have picked up.
Yeah, honestly, that attack, they were setting up, they were ready for the, they were getting ready to repel the attack, but they ended up losing too many roamers and getting picked off, and the round just kind of went into Team Please's favor.
Comes down to Amarok and Takaizo again, the same two that clutched last time, except last time Amarok had a shotgun to his name. Didn't really use it though, so he switched back to the MPX and is going to use the range game. Has still got his C4, that's what clutched it for them last time over. Takaizo though already lacking a lot of health and has rotated into CCTV this time. So he's going to try and come around behind these guys. Amarok left alone trying to hold the front edge. Cracking open the wall to try and put some fear in and give another angle, but the plant is going down. Around the back comes Jaeger, picks up a good kill onto Capital, switches up to Iron just as Thermite sprints into views and misses both kills. Now though, Amarok can push in, he's trying to put pressure on the back. Iron's by the sacrificial altar, Thermite's still in the back of the office. He sprints past, he actually will be exposed here. Quittle picks up the kill onto Kaizo. Amarok doesn't realize what's behind him, now he does. Iron's going to peek on through, sprints on out to try and get the kill, but cannot land the shots. In behind him comes Quittle. Neither of them lands shots until right at the end when Amarok picks it up. Now Iron's coming back into the doorway. Lots of shots missed from Amarok, and they're both incredibly low. Iron though, down to his SMG-11, he's on the reload. Around the corner he'll come, but unscoped. Iron picks up the headshot needed to clutch the round for Team Please and put us back at 3-2.
You know, honestly, that's a little disappointing. I saw that going in the defenders' side. I thought that round was going to be for the defenders. But what happened there is Valkyrie, I think it was Amarok. Amarok did not apply enough pressure when his teammate was coming in for the flank. And because his teammate Jaeger was just fully exposed, you know, got the pick, he did his job, he distracted them, he turned both of their heads. Because Amarok didn't apply enough pressure while that was happening, it ended up going in the attacker's favor.
Yeah, I thought it was all a case of when Jaeger came around that corner, if he killed Capitao or not,
Right.
it would have made it work. He got the kill. It should have been a
It was
nice easy
Amarok.
cleanup afterwards,
Yeah.
but
Didn't push himself for it.
nearly made it work straight away afterwards as well, but just
Yeah,
couldn't keep track of where Iron went. Couldn't quite figure out where Sledge was rotating to and where to expect him from. And yeah, paid the price for it. Now though, team please, back onto defense themselves. Can also go upstairs to the armory and the lockers, doing their setup, which worked out very nicely for them before. Both teams, of course, successfully holding this site in their first attempt, and while Epsilon fell down there, it once again came close. Team please looking to successfully hold this and level it out at 3 rounds to 3 all over again.
I'd like to see a different attack strat come out on this round. I would really, really like to see Epsilon try to address this from the A side. I said it earlier, I think, A side's a little bit easier to cordon off. You can pretty much just hold the flank from one doorway, as long as they don't have, well, the C4 hole that they did open up into CCTV. But even then, it's pretty much just one direction. You've got east side, you got to watch for the flanks, and then you can just direct all of your aggression straight north into the A side. And I'm surprised, honestly, that we're not seeing that coming out from either of these teams so far. And, you know, you can even deny the panda trapping from underneath by simply ashing or grenading after you open up the front door.
So, Iron and Mastumor once again inside the open office, the CCTV office.
You know, I'm thinking that Iron's name has something to do with the fact that he is always using iron sights.
Yeah, Primal prone at the end of that corridor, actually. Nearly shot up underneath Iron. Now cautious the metal says he hears Mitre. He comes around just as he flicks away, picks up the kill and darts back into CCTV unscathed. There's the trade that was not there from Ash waiting on the staircase. Master Morton now checking the cameras, feeding more info. Bibsy does get taken out by Primal elsewhere, so we do get one kill. Iron sprints across the gap again, and Primal will miss this time over. He's got a Claymore in place, but there's also a Capcan trap on this door. He can see it, though. Master Mort's been chased out of the CCTV room and is down inside the bomb site with his team. They've got the wall into this east office wall opened, and now they're going to EMP towards the other side. Master Mort hiding behind the non-reinforced wall. Going to be a little bit cautious. This gets spotted as he sprints across that gap, and the drone is chasing him into that altar as well. With a minute 30 on the clock now, Epsilon is slowly but surely closing the gap. Capo is waiting to peek around this corner. It's going to be very, very tight when he does, and he makes it count. Gets the headshot on a prone peeking Primal. And now Team Please are going to slow it down with their numbers advantage.
Now, what happened there, for those of you who don't know, Sledge was prone, so he was giving himself more vertical visibility. He was spreading himself out, and you know, I'm guessing what happened there is Valkyrie probably saw his foot, and even though he couldn't see her, he was just too exposed.
Yeah, very, very horizontal.
Horizontal, vertical.
When you're like that. Very spread out. Starzu then out here on the teller's roof, starts to crack that window open, try and apply some pressure from this side. Now that Amarok is pushing in with Takaizo. Amarok gets taken out by the man peeking at the door. It's Capo. He's already picked up one, and that's 3 total now, as he is completely unpunished. But as they come in, Starzio does get him on the revive. And now it's 1v2. Iron IQ still in CCTV. Starzio's fire bolts keeping him locked in here himself. He's got to be aware of one inside the site. It's Quittle. He misses the first few shots, but goes prone and gets the next one. Down to Iron versus Starzio. Iron trying to silently prone in under that barricade, but cannot fit. Starzio now got to go in and pick up the diffuser, and through the hole in the wall, Iron will tag him up but not frag him. Starzio now knows he's got the diffuser, can get back in towards the site. He's cautious of the door. Iron pushes forward, perfectly timed. Wow. Easy headshot on the man, mid-diffuser animation. And Team Please, level it out, 3 rounds to 3.
That was a pretty crazy round from Stasio and Iron, both. Now, I've said it before and I'll say it again. The roamers coming out from Team Please, Iron specifically, I guess, really,
yeah,
are kind of carrying these defenses.
Master Moore has been roaming with him, but that one especially, he just got tagged up through the wall and sprinted back to the bomb site. It's not really been a factor, but Iron has been here every single time. And
Stasio almost closed out that round. You got to give him props. I mean, he finished up his teammate's job on the downed defenders, but then he took it a step further. He got a nice drop shot onto, I think it was Valkyrie, playing in the little office there.
Yep.
And, you know, he almost brought it there. He almost got it. And honestly, if he had a little bit more time, he may have been able to.
Nice then. So, 3 rounds to 3 as we level it all out again. So we now head on in to another attempt for Epsilon to try and hold this site. As you mentioned, it's come very much close and down to the wire. Last couple of times they've attempted it.
Now, I said it earlier.
More consistent now.
I said it earlier, but I would like to see an A attack. Now, you know, here's the thing. Here's the reason why I would like to see it mixed up. If you've got teams that are always attacking the same site, you know, always going at the same direction towards that site, it becomes predictable. It becomes, okay, well, you know where they're going to be attacking. There's nothing to change up about it. And, you know, obviously we saw Epsilon try to mix it up by running into the little fountain room straight from the metal stairs. But I just pick a different site. Try to attack it from a different angle. It's totally doable.
So, Master Mort is already up on the wall at the east side office, but now droning in from the outside and underneath him, making sure that whole area is safe and clear. Keep it out of the trapdoor. Maita being very aggressive, taking down Capo's Capital this time. Capo pushes into CCTV every time they drone it. He comes straight through the door quickly afterwards. Maita took advantage of that, was ready for him this time and makes him pay. Iron though on this floor now and knows he's got to be cautious of the man down there and will come and hunt for it. But he's just watching the staircase now and letting his team drone around and feed him some info. Team Play is playing very similar routes on their attacks as they've done the last few rounds. So if Epsilon guys have been paying attention, should be aware of this, as Quittle now repels in to the wall, which has got a battery spam all over it. And it's going to need Bibsy to come on in and shock one of them down.
Should be pretty easy for him to get these batteries, especially with Bandit playing it as far back as he is. And
Wasn't sure if Bandit was going to kill it as he sprinted away, but nope.
Yeah.
Twitchering gets in, they take out every single battery, and I believe a grenade came out from underneath as well, yes, to make sure Stasio is not juggling.
still have this Twitch drone.
And actually, it seems to have damaged himself a lot with that. Either the grenades damaged himself, or he did get shot from Maita while he was down there, but either way, he is very low after those grenades went off on the floor below to let that wall get opened. Maita is still downstairs, and while Bandit's a little bit lower in health, Maita comes up to the main corridor, does get spotted by Max's drone. So they're aware, but they also now know that corridor is clean.
And we're seeing a really slow attack from Please. I mean, they're taking it all the way back here. You know, and they're not taking any chances. They know where Stasio is, and they really just want to apply pressure to him until he decides to peek.
There is Maita killed off. Iron picks up that kill as he tries to flank around underneath. Stasio knows exactly where Bibbs is hiding in this corner. He's just waiting for him to stand up, but he's on his camera and he's happy to sit there and wait, especially because Valkyrie has given him the confidence and the knowledge of who's in this room with him. You see it there. But although on the window means as soon as they leap over, it's going to land right on his head. Master Mort with the kill before he gets taken out from inside the site by Takaizo. The angle is beautiful here from Takaizo inside the A site. Lands a few onto Iron as well, takes him low. Bibsy is downed and finished off by Primal, and this is the defense that Epsilon needed. Primal gets another one onto Iron IQ. Now it's all Quittle inside on his drone. Easy headshot in the back of the head. That's the defense Epsilon have been waiting for on this site every single time. They finally figured it out and locked it down, and as a result, it puts them on map point 4 rounds to 3.
You know, I think Team Please, they slowed their attack down there because they knew, okay, listen, it's 3-3. We need to take this super careful. We need to address this in the most, you know, in the carefulest way possible. And honestly, I think it backfired. I feel like it allowed Epsilon to put themselves in a position to really calculatedly just repel the attackers entirely. Like they knew where everyone was coming from, and it gave them the time they needed to think about it.
So,
and also, I have to say, Takaizo, those long angles, very impressive. He's not even using an ACOG on those long angles, and he's still pulling them off really well with Jaeger's gun.
at a very, very tight angle at that.
Yeah.
Through that doorway and through the hole in the wall, so very nice shots to him. Now though, Team Play is down into the ventilation room and the workshop as their next attempt at defense. Something which we haven't seen Epsilon actually try and attack, as we have online. We'll see how it plays on out. They did get off with it pretty easily, to be fair. Team Play, of course, making holes in towards the toilet, rotating in through there. In a Bibsy, but the floor above just got cut apart. it was tough. Team Please once again reinforcing the outer walls here to Customs.
Now, if there's a round that Epsilon is going to lock this out, this is it right here. If there's a round that they're going to be able to take this map away from Team Please, completely lock it out, this is the one.
10 seconds left.
I feel like the Armory defenses are honestly like the hardest to take on this map. I think we can all agree on that. And the way that Team Please plays this, I mean, it's unorthodox, it's working, but it didn't actually work. It didn't actually they didn't actually win last time. Now we saw that Iron and was it Mew? Their Jaeger, they were putting up a really good duo roam over on the custom side of thing, but the anchors on the site, they got picked off really easily. And if that happens again, you know, we see Epsilon take this map.
Epsilon just need this one round, just need this attack round to get 1 point out of this matchup to level it out and draw it out. And still making a few kill holes downstairs as Takaizo drones up top with Meta rushing into what would be the A side, the lockers area. Before the drones, you see them just swarming all over the floor, confirmed to him it's safe to move around.
It's good team play coming out with those drones. Not all teams do that.
No, yeah, Primal droning, EMPing to make sure the floor below gets cleaned out. That Claymore will immediately blow when that door starts to get punched open, so very cautious to any flankers coming that way. And Amarok now coming in to join them within this site as the floor has already started to be cracked open, blown apart by the attacking action. He can then go to the trapdoor and thermite it open, give them an even more terrifying angle on towards the server room. As the now push from Starzio looks to come in from outside. Now he was picked off from here last time. They knew where to come expect him from. Takaizo was over on the right hand side and killed him down. So Takaizo mastered more. But he's got to be a bit more cautious as the pressure is being played onto a site from above. So many holes that are being made into this floor.
I really like the way that Epsilon is addressing this. I really like the way that they're factoring in all the vertical gameplay that is possible on border to really try and just debunk vents. They're getting all of the common spots. As you can see there, they did get that C4 hole locked off so as to deny the roamers coming back. And honestly, it's really nice. It's good to see teams using that vertical gameplay. Not everyone does.
Oh, but they smoked it up, and that allows Kappa to get inside the site, and he does just that to stop the plant. Spray comes in from all angles as Iron takes down one, Quittle takes down one before Amarak trades Iron back, so Quittle back. Amarak still above now, sees these players running around below, but cannot get the shots he needs until they stop moving. He does take Capo down. Out on the window, Maita is there. Mastumos tinned in the corner, didn't get seen here, so he's still tucked on in. Amarok hasn't got eyes on him, doesn't realize the man's in there. Maita goes in, and it's an easy kill for Mas. Mas is going to be laughing about that one, and well, Maita probably yelling at Amarok, telling him it's clear. Pinned back in the corner. Amarok sees him head over there this time, moves to a different hole, just in time for Mas to move again. Now the shots are rattling in, and he will die this time. Bibsy still inside A. Iron rotating around to the bottom of the metal stairs. Kaizo has finally come down. He's going to be heading around towards the toilet. Bibsy is about to hear him. We'll give that information. But the diffuser's been picked up by Amarok. He's got to try and plant it in this site. Iron's going to now sprint over and cross. He hasn't got time to come off of it. Iron gets an easy kill. He had to stay there. And it is going to be overtime between Team Please and Epsilon, which means we get to do another fancy remake.
You know, I like the way that Epsilon addressed that. I like the way they were attacking that. They were trying to get the verticality, but they just didn't spend enough time actually trying to debunk. They could have opened up that entire site. They could have opened up in the corner that Jaeger used to get that kill onto Ash, but they didn't. The resources required were almost basically nothing. So I'm kind of surprised, to be honest, that they didn't take a little bit of extra time, maybe 30 more seconds up there to just pummel them from above.
So, this should be 4-4.
I thought it was...
Yeah, that's what I'm double checking. But teams aren't backing out to do an overtime remake, which is interesting. But we'll go on as it is until they or the admins confirm or say something else about it, because Epsilon
defending
now
vents
downstairs into the vents room. Now, I mean, they should have the ability to go upstairs again, and they would, I imagine, want it. But we'll go through, see how it is. And they are setting up their defensive vents once again. Last time, of course, they did a full reinforcement on this customs wall, and then a full reinforcement on the toilet wall, which they look like they're to be doing again. We're splitting that map down the middle, like you mentioned.
Yeah, no, it's a good strat. It's You know, and you really focus the attackers. You think, okay, the attackers like, all right, you're focusing, you're trying to defend A, right? So we'll just go B. Well, no, they're definitely not. They're just putting all of they're like putting their backs against the wall, I guess you could say. They're trying to pin or bring the enemies into their trap. It's it's really good defense.
Except
Whoa.
it did work out very well for them last time.
Yeah, it did.
Kaizo peeking at the corner one at a time, 2 more. As the attackers are now starting to come in, Iron starts sledging that wall open again like he did before. Got in very quickly to pick up the first kill onto Castle on the last attack here.
Looks like we're going to be seeing another customs attack coming out from Team Please. And this isn't like last time, it just did not work out for them. I would like to see, probably based upon the way that Epsilon's defending this, what I would like to see Team Please do is I would like to see them take CCTV. If they take CCTV, they can apply pressure to customs from above. Doesn't take a whole lot of time. And we know that they're not defending CCTV, well, because drones, but also because they reinforced that whole back wall. They cut themselves off.
Stazio droned out inside the inspections room. Sprints away just as the L85 starts to rattle off a few shots into the room. The other corner, but again, Stazio's back out in the corridor now. Master Moore picks up a kill onto Primal. That's the first kill for the attackers. Then Capo will grab one before Mass is traded back. More grenades heading on in, but Stazio's already been downed. Capo comes in from the backside. Takaizo now in the corridor between the waiting room. Sprints back to the A site. This very aggressive defense then for Epsilon is starting to crumble, and their players are low or dead before the attackers have even got anywhere near the sites. So Takaizo's holding one, Amarok's holding the other, but he does have a rotate hole. Will have to dance around from the drone and then reposition. Takaizo still cautious of the aggressive push forward.
That was a good play from Twitch, coming down the stairs, applying pressure to Bandit, who was trying to hold behind. Ooh.
Easy shot coming in for Quetzal as Takaizo doesn't quite land his important rounds. Amarok now inside B is fighting with Iron. Iron's got himself inside the site itself. He's trying to use the kill holes against him. And sprints around towards the doorway, gets actually into the site behind Amarok, who's now tucked in behind the B-bomb. The plant's going down inside A. Quetzal actually comes off of it. It's now going on inside the door. Iron has slowed down a little bit. He's cautious of the main door entrance. Amarok sprints across in front of him. He's going to get behind Capo, and just before he gets the kill, Iron picks out with his SMG-11, lands the killing blow onto that Valkyrie head.
Now, it looks like Team Please learned a lot from their first attack on on ventilation. They knew that they knew where Epsilon was going to be defending, and they tried to play around it. They didn't do it in quite the way that I would have, which was just taking CCTV and opening up above. But what they did is they brought Twitch down the stairs to try and flank out the Bandit, while Sledge still applied that same pressure. This difference between what they did, I think, this time and what they did last time is they didn't get picked off.
So, into the armory locker / archives. Team Please looking to go. Can they hold this for the map? They are now, of course, up that 1 round, 5 rounds to 4. This 1 win here.
And we're seeing them open up these walls up top again to deny that thermite plant, play the extreme long angles. And honestly, I'd like to see Epsilon do that as well. Their Jaeger, really good at playing those long angles. I don't see why not give him more options to help defend B site. And obviously, we've been seeing all teams throughout this both the teams here throughout this entire match. They have been strictly attacking B. So I don't see why Epsilon doesn't pick that up as well. It seems to be working.
So, Please are setting up their defense now. Bibsy went huge in here as Capcan last time around the Epsilon attack came through. Epsilon got to try and make sure they can make their shots count on him this time over. He's going to do the same again. Capcan, we talked about how the 3 armor allows him to take a lot of punishment.
Right. And obviously those open walls would only be beneficial if you can, or only you can only utilize those if if the attackers even get past the Capcan, who's playing in office.
Open the solid walls, stuck behind the mobile Capcan. Drones are now coming in. They are roaming around the floors above. They do catch one in the kitchen. They also then caught the Jaeger inside CCTV as well. Those 2 have been found out, but that's not going to be any kind of surprise to the Epsilon attack. That's where the Team Please roaming duo have sat both times.
Honestly, I like it, because the way they're reinforcing, the way they're playing their anchor positions is in favor of a B defense. And then they have the roamers denying an A offense. I mean, it's really well spaced out. And you know that roaming duo is going to get the job done. So, honestly, very, very well thought out from Team Please.
Bibsy then hiding behind the desk here in the office. Cautious of the drones coming his way. You can hear that one from Amarok that's gone around to the far end. Now Primals is in here as well. Both check in around this corner. Bibsy gets spotted out, misses the drone, and then falls back to the altar as well. Azir comes up the staircase. They rushed in here last time, but then it was Iron that sprinted around behind them and really made it hurt. Cautious of the noises coming his way. He can't shoot that drone though, because he's got to keep an eye on the men pushing him in. Does finally kill the drone though.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Now starting to open the east wall. Thermite is out on the edge. Primal's right on the other side of this kill hole that he made not so long ago. Primal's standing up. Bibsy looks away. Sprints on the corner. Primal does go down. There's the trade back. Amarok finally getting in through the hole he made in that wall quickly and easily enough. Meta though trying to come up the staircase with that grenade in tow from Capital. Heads to the CCTV. There's the bandit right around the corner, which he does get the headshot on Quittle. Dropping down, Maito is on low health. Takaizo grabs two there himself as Buck as he pushes in towards CCTV as Iron and Mass both step out through that that C4 hole into his fire. And now Capo Di Capi has to kill 3. It's going to be 4 as soon as that Ash gets revived. C4's up and over the top and it doesn't touch a soul. Ash gets revived and it now becomes 4 again. The plant's going down, but he's immediately naded to Kaizo. What a round from him. Takes us to 5 rounds apiece.
So we saw what Capcan did there. He tried to he tried to capitalize on what he knew, where he knew that Thatcher was playing. And in the end, it backfired on him. Now, we know that Capcan has a whole lot of durability, and that's why that one round we saw him defend successfully against, 3 people, 4 people? Tank a whole lot of shots. But in that situation, he was trying to play the role of a 3-speed and capitalize on those abundant opportunities, but it just ended up biting him in the butt.
So, Armory Lockers and Archives is now the selection for Epsilon. It's going to be their final stand. Winner of this. That's interesting. So that was our game. That's cool. All right. So here's the thing. If our game crashes, there's a very real possibility that they are still playing, we just can't see it. Now, obviously, we can't pull them out mid-round. That is unfair, which means the round they're playing is going to stick if they're playing it. So we'll get confirmed from the admins, we'll get confirmed from the teams, and find out if their round is played out. And if it is, what's the score? But it kind of sucks, because it means we just missed the end of the game.
Yeah, that's the final round of the final map of
So
the final
here's the
match
thing.
of the night.
If Epsilon win it, it is 1 point apiece. If Team Please win it, Team Please get all 3 points. But we will give you an update on what it is after this short break, and we'll have an update on the full standings and how all of today's games have affected the standings, and all of today's games as points in there. So, yeah. We might have the last round for you, but I kind of doubt it. So, yeah, cross your fingers, and we'll see you in just a moment. gentlemen, we're back. Invites out. Bam, there you go. The teams just know that the lobby is being remade. That last round didn't get played, so we are in. We can still watch the last round between Epsilon and Team Please. So as soon as the players funnel their way and filter their way back into the lobby, we will get that last round played out and properly, and we can watch it. So there is a saving little bit of grace here for that one. So let's talk about those last 2 rounds we saw, because we didn't go too in-depth with them because they kept just running on through. But Epsilon really did figure out the Team Please defense there for that upstairs bomb site.
I mean, to be honest, it was really, in my opinion, it was just Capcan. Capcan kind of threw it away. He tried to take the opportunity that was presented to him, but it's not the opportunity of 3 armor to take, you know?
I mean, you're right there. Yes, he was also too slow. He didn't survive after getting the kill. But I was more thinking that to Kaizo, the 2 kills he picked up the 2 roamers. They knew that they were going to come through that C4 hole. They knew that if they came up the staircase and blew a hole from the metal stairs, they'd try and use that against them. So he sat there at the end of the east corridor, stared right down at that C4 hole. As soon as Jaeger and the recruit sprinted out of it, 2 easy kills for him.
You're right. No, they did cut that off. And honestly, like I've been saying this whole time, is the roamers on Team Please I'd say probably the most important part of their defense. You know, they've been putting in a lot of work, getting most of the frags, and laying it down. You know, laying down the law is like me and Iron and Jaeger. They can't stop us.
No. So there we go. Players are all back in. Let's get this last round underway. Figure it out. As we mentioned before, the Epsilon win, it is a 1-point draw. If Team PLS win, it is a 3-point win for them. They are the underdogs here. They are the new guys, and they dominated the first map 5 rounds to 0. So it will be quite an upset if they pull this off, but it will be a phenomenal game for them and a well-earned one. This last map, of course, now being 5 rounds to 5, could not be closer, as Team Please are very much on the line.
Yeah, and again, we're seeing Castle coming out from Epsilon, and we're defending Armory. Now, again, I honestly don't think that Castle's super useful on Armory. I think that he'd be better off, you know, obviously he's been doing work downstairs in the ventilation, but on the Armory defense, I'm not really sure. I feel like he brings much, especially when you're dealing with most teams. They're attacking one specific site. They've been doing it this whole time, and there's not much you can reinforce on that side of the map that's going to help your team in any way.
We'll see. They have done well as adapting to the PLS defense, the Please defense of this site. So maybe they can change their own defense enough up here to just get what is needed, just secure it for that one last round. They need here. That's all it takes. They need it. 1 round, 1 point. Epsilon losing rounds. I mean, yes, it's still early in the season, but when you're looking for that top 2 placements, losing rounds, losing maps this early.
To Team Please.
To anyone, this early in the season really hinders what you're going to be going into. By all means, obviously winning is better, that's
right.
Side. But if you've won the first 5 weeks, that makes those last 2 far less pressure on your shoulders, because you've already got a load of points stocked up, they're already guaranteed. Now, losing this early on means you've really got to win those last few weeks of games, and that's when everyone is playing their best, that's when everyone is trying the hardest, and that's when you want as little pressure as possible. So, Epsilon, and to be fair, in Team Please's case, them here too, right? If they're going to keep this kind of performance up, they could also be looking for those top 2 placements, and they need to make sure to get all 3 points out of this game as well.
It'd be really interesting to see Team Please at the playoffs. You know, and again, Epsilon's been defending this Armory pretty well. And it all really comes down to how well, I think, you hold that office. But Team Please, looking like they're going to try and set up to take the other flank. No, I think Capo's just sat here.
Nading the castle barricade again. He's done this every single time. Last round, he did it. He was punished. Maita pushed him as castle, killed him off very early on. That's the reason that Epsilon won this defense. This time, however, didn't work. Ash on this window has already taken to Kaizo low. Amarok inside the sacrificial altar area. No, wait, he's inside the back side of B, is also taking a bit of punishment now. So while Twitch has taken a little bit of hurt here from Team Please, Epsilon are already on the back foot. Their positions are known, their positions are predictable, and Please have sprayed a lot of them low already from their outside spots.
A little bit I'm worried about here from Team Please is they are really spaced out. Sure, they've got Capo, he's watching the flank, and they've got everyone in their own position trying to play their own angle. And it's honestly kind of frightening when you're talking about a game like Rainbow Six. You need to hit those trades, and when you don't have anyone in position to, well, trade you, it's putting you at a disadvantage.
Bibsy shocks the Rook twice, and then he almost peeked him in the corridor. He's back up on the desk, though. Ducks in just in time as Matsu Mort's drone now goes on in there. He's looking to move in. The wall's reinforced, and that actually helps the attackers here. Ash, though, cracks the window open, forces him down and off of the fence. Thermite realizing that wall is reinforced, they're coming in, they're going to try and smoke it off, and they're going to plant it. That wall being reinforced really helps the attackers here. Please, he puts a Claymore down to stop the man rushing around. He's going to go for the defuse. The rusher comes around, and before the Claymore even goes off, Bibsy gets a beautiful headshot on Primal. Iron then gets Meta, who's trying to flank from the office as well. The plant is down, and only 2 members of Epsilon are still alive. Gapatao has been down in the main corridor, but Takaizo's low. There goes Bandit. Takaizo has to find 4 here if he wants to give Epsilon anything, and please, with a perfect on-the-fly adaptation to the end of that round, shut out Epsilon, get all 3 points from this series. 5-0, 6-5, masterclass.
Well, that's crazy. You know, they like you said, they adapted. They